One of my favorite things to watch on YouTube these days are the court hearings where illegals are in court and ICE shows up to drag them out of court and deport them. I can think of nothing more American today than keeping our streets safer by getting those violent criminals out of the United States of America. And we all have Donald J. Trump to thank for it.
Hi again, everybody. It's 5 o'clock in the East. An unbelievable comment, an unbelievable thing to think, let alone say out loud on television. An unbelievably callous and cruel comment coming from Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina. Of course, we all want our streets safe and our neighborhoods safe, especially from convicted pedophiles. She revealed that what gives her pleasure is watching families of law-abiding individuals torn apart, because what she's describing is not the stealthy removal of dangerous criminals who are hiding from law enforcement, but the detaining of undocumented immigrants in process, doing what the law says they should do, and actually showing up for their immigration hearings. It is at these hearings where ICE is waiting for them, ready to sweep them up and deport them. A new piece in The New Yorker reports that this practice has been picking up in terms of pace lately. Quote, now many migrants are being detained regardless of the status of their case. Quote, I just can't in good faith advise someone to go to Federal Plaza, said Nuala O'Doherty Naranjo, a New York-based immigration lawyer who is also a well-known community organizer in Queens. Quote, 2 weeks ago, I would have said maybe, but now, no way. While this phenomenon is happening at immigration courts all across our country, in New York City, there are some stunning numbers to tell you about. The City, a New York news outlet, reports that apprehensions skyrocketed this summer. They look at that building the lawyer mentioned, 26 Federal Plaza, where, quote, during the month of June, an average of 89 people were detained inside each night. And despite what people like Nancy Mace say, these are not necessarily people with criminal records or criminal pasts. In fact, the city reports, quote, of the 1,453 people imprisoned inside the building in May and June, 968 of them, or 67%, have not been convicted or charged with any crimes. Those people are characterized by ICE as, quote, other immigration violators, a category including people who overstayed their visas or were in the country without proper authorization. Our own colleague, Jacob Sobroff, visited 26 Federal Plaza yesterday. He witnessed this chilling scene where a man, right upon leaving the courtroom, was promptly grabbed and detained. Watch.
Hey, you have to move.
What is it, peeing?
Hey,
oh, is it peeing? Come on, let's arrest him.
About the way, you're peeing.
Let's arrest him. Let's arrest him.
About the way. Wait.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
All right, guys, all right, go to space,
Whoa.
go to space.
Oh, you're pushing,
back
pushing,
up,
pushing.
back up. Back about it.
Well, wait a minute.
And that's it. That's it. Good.
Media, don't go in there. Don't go in the stairwell.
So what you just witnessed was federal agents obviously detaining someone outside of their immigration hearing, a routine immigration check-in here in the hallways of Immigration Court in Lower Manhattan at 26 Federal Plaza. This has been happening on a daily basis for the better part of 2 months. And immigration attorneys and activists say that this goes against the rights of the migrants who are coming here to check in.
It's where we start the hour with NBC's Jacob Sobroff. Also joining us, former top official at the Department of Justice, MSNBC legal analyst Andrew Weissmann is here. Jacob, tell us what you saw.
I couldn't believe it, Nicole, and I wanted to see it with my own eyes. You know, to hear what is playing out on the streets of Los Angeles and has been over the course of the last several months, every single day, indiscriminate, wide-scale immigration enforcement, snatching people up where they should be safe at places of work where historically ICE and other federal agents have never gone to do this type of enforcement, is happening in the hallways of buildings like 26 Federal Plaza on a daily basis. And it was a remarkable thing to see, not just because these immigrants who are showing up as they're supposed to play a part in the lawful immigration process, are being literally snatched the second they walk out the door of the courtroom, where otherwise they might be given a court date to come back in a year or two for a regularly scheduled appearance to perhaps get asylum or go into full removal proceedings. They're being picked up and taken to, in some cases, a secretive detention center. What you're watching on your screen happened on the 12th floor. On the 14th floor of this 26 Federal Plaza, where literally over 1,000 people have been taken over the course of the last 2 months. The 14th floor has other immigration courtrooms, but on the 10th floor is a detention center. And ICE says it's not a detention center, it's just an ICE office space, but essentially they are being taken, rendered to that room, held in that detention center, and many of them are placed into what's called expedited removal proceedings. And of course, Nancy Mace says there's nothing more American than watching scenes like this play out. This is some video that the city obtained of that 10th floor detention center, what ICE says is an office or a workspace. Nancy Mace says there's nothing more American than watching scenes like this. Immigration advocates and lawyers say, in fact, it's actually a violation of their due process rights, that the rights of these people in this country, whether they're here to seek asylum or refuge, or whatever their stories might be, are actually being violated. And that's what Nancy Mace says. There's nothing more American than watching on YouTube.
Jacob Soboroff, Donald Trump ran on deporting the worst of the worst. What kind of migrants or immigrants or asylum seekers show up for their court appearances? Are they the worst of the worst?
You know, I can't tell you about every single person. And in full disclosure, I can't tell you even about the 5 people that I watched with my own eyes being taken yesterday. But what I can tell you is data that has been released through outlets like The City says 70%, 67 to be exact, of the people who have been apprehended in that building over the last 2 months had no criminal record whatsoever, other than being in the country without authorization, other than being undocumented. And the other thing I think it's important for people to remember, Nicole, is it's not just these people, like the man right here that I watched be apprehended by masked agents, armed masked agents, 9 of them just standing in the hallway with all of us waiting for them to come out. It's children. I cannot tell you. This is me right there standing. I mean, it is a unbelievably surreal scene that these guys are standing there in ski masks and sunglasses and hats and bulletproof vests. There are kids just like this who are being forced to walk through these scenes, even if they're not being detained by the ICE agents or the ATF agents in the case of the scenes that I saw play out yesterday, or the Border Patrol agents who are there today. All of these children are going to suffer the trauma of walking through these militarized scenes in the hallways of 26 Federal Plaza because their moms and dads want to do the right thing. They want to show up for their hearings so that they can stay in this country legally. They're trying to actually make things right. And instead, they're being forced to literally walk through a gauntlet of armed, masked agents who won't show their faces, won't tell you their names, and are literally grabbing people that could be their mothers and fathers. And it could be their own family separation were it not for the luck of the draw and they weren't the ones that were detained on that particular day.
Jacob, what is the, for all that you were able to see and report, how much of this is happening that we wouldn't necessarily know about?
I think that, first of all, there has been a long-standing battle inside this particular building about access from folks like us. And what I will tell you is, with a press badge like the one that I wear on the side of my clothes here, anybody, and I would encourage anyone who has one to show up at 26 Federal Plaza to go see this for yourself. At first, they didn't want people to come in with cameras and to be able to take this footage and watch what was happening. But after a battle by some of the very journalists who have been there every single day staking this out and watching it happen, the federal government, the building, has now permitted people to come in and see what's going on inside. I can tell you that if I had pushed the button number 10 in the elevator and shown up in that detention center, we would not have been welcome. And ICE, while saying that the conditions are not substandard, that nobody is being held in inhumane conditions, they don't want to let, or haven't let, anybody like me or you inside the 10th floor of that building to see who's in there right now, how long they've been held there for, what the conditions look like, if they're sleeping on the concrete floors, if they're under those Mylar blankets, if there are any families that are inside. We don't know because we're not able to know because they're not telling us. And so there have been some hard-fought victories from primarily local journalists here in New York, and they deserve all the credit in the world, to be able to allow us to have access and to watch the scenes that are playing out. By the way, Nicole, in courtrooms all across the United States of America, immigration courtrooms and hallways like this is playing out. But if I wanted to do this in Los Angeles, I couldn't. In San Diego, there's been some access. But remember, there's immigration courts all over the United States of America. Stephen Miller has a goal of deporting 3,000 people apprehending on a daily basis. And the bottom line is this is going to continue. This is continuing. And we do not have full access and full transparency. But in New York, we're just getting our first looks at it now.